to make sure that it's live streaming correctly. So it says it is setting up our meeting for YouTube Live. It is done. It is redirecting. And yes, it looks like it is loading. All right, so it looks like we are live, everybody. So let's go ahead and get started. It looks like it is loading. Let me do one thing here. And there we go. All right, so we are officially live with our first Faces of First Year, hosted virtually through Zoom, through YouTube. All of the technology channels are just working our way from our individual homes into yours. And we thank you so much for joining and watching us today. If we have not met, I am Renee Forsyth, and I lead the First Year Experience Program for Pima Community College, which is an umbrella program. So it actually hosts 7 different initiatives, all created specifically for first year students like you. And one of those programs is this, Faces of First Year, where we introduce our new Pima students to key resources and personnel that matter to you and are there to provide special support and assistance in your first year at Pima. So today we are featuring the topic of graduation. And you may be wondering, wait a minute, Renee, isn't it a little bit early for us to be thinking about graduation? But the answer is no. It's never too soon to prepare and be thinking about what you are looking forward to in that end goal, which is to graduate with your degree or certificate, and even more importantly, to celebrate all of the hard work that you are putting into this journey. So I have 2 very special subject matter experts here who are critical parts of the graduation process. So they're going to be joining us today and answering some key questions that we have for you. So let me go ahead and have them first introduce themselves. We will begin with Emily.
Hi, my name is Emily Ratley, and I am the Associate Registrar, one of 3 Associate Registrars at Pima College. And my particular areas of responsibility include graduation and making sure that when students apply for graduation, that they've met all of their program requirements and we can award the credential.
Awesome. And Emily, it kind of takes a village. There's many people that go into that graduation application process, correct?
There are a lot of folks. So it starts with students understanding that there's a graduation application process, working with advisors to get that record done, working with folks in our office, in the records office, to make sure that that graduation record is recorded in our information system, and then still more people sure that we review our academic record and history to meet all requirements. And then after all that's done, we get to have the party. That's a whole nother team of people that make sure we celebrate your success.
Awesome. That's a great segue over to Christy, our party lady, if you will. So please introduce yourself and what role you play in graduation.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Christy Camargo. I'm the Special Events Manager for college events. I oversee major functions for Chancellor Lee Lambert, such as graduation, multicultural convocation, and a whole slew of other internal and external functions. As Emily said, graduation is such an exciting time for not only students and their families, but for the employees, especially us as the planners, planning this big party for the graduates. And there's a whole slew of people that help put on graduation, from internal teams to external vendors, and it always comes together at the end, in person or virtual.
Awesome, great. So we're going to go ahead and get started into some questions that we have prepared. If there's any tech difficulties along the way, don't worry about it. Just try logging right back into the Zoom session and you'll join right back into our live streaming. But all right, so the first question is, what is a key thing that first year students should know about graduation? And one key distinction that I want to make sure that we make up front is that graduation is kind of broken down into two parts, if you will. There's the application, which is Emily's wheelhouse that she'll be speaking to. And then there's the ceremony itself, which is the celebration where everybody's in their caps and gowns. And so we'll first have Emily answer this question of what's a key thing that first year students should know regarding graduation application. So go ahead and take it away.
Sure. So I think the first and most important thing to know is that you do have to apply for graduation. You're going to spend a whole lot of time studying and reading and writing papers and figuring out math equations. And when you get to the end of it, we not automatically award you a degree. You have to let us know in advance that you're prepared to, that you are preparing to graduate and you'll be done within that semester. So there are graduate application deadlines that are published on academic calendar, as well as our graduation website, which we'll talk about in a minute. And you do need to apply for graduation. That's probably the first and most important thing to know.
Perfect. And then Christy, what would you say is a key thing that our students should know about the ceremony?
Well, I have to go back in history. Back in 1990, believe it or not, I was a Pima Community College graduate, and I was also part of the last graduating class that participated in the Tucson Convention Center Music Hall. At that time, Pima was growing, and we had already, we had burst the walls in the music hall. So the following year in 1991, we held our very first graduation ceremony in the Tucson Convention Center arena, and that's where we remain today. So in thinking about that, the arena is pretty large, right? Mm-hmm. Every year, 750 to 900 graduates participate in the ceremony, but over 9,000 family and friends come to help cheer on their graduate. And it's a fantastic feeling seeing that arena full.
So also that's to feel the energy in the room for anyone who attends and participates, because there's also faculty and staff and administrators there to celebrate with the students as well. And just the energy in that room is contagious and it's electric. And so it's a really special moment, absolutely. For sure. All right, so my next question for you is, when should a student begin preparing for graduation? So Emily, I'm going to have you start this off, and in the caveat of preparing for the graduation application.
Sure. Well, I think you should start thinking about your graduation the first day you start school. You want to make sure that you are actually have declared your major, or what we call a program of study, and that's documented in our student information system. So when that is correctly documented, you can use other resources like My Degree Plan, and that's going to show you all of the program requirements that you need in order to finish. So that's really what's going to help you best to get through preparing for graduation. You'll know each semester you've checked those boxes, you've checked that box, and then when you get into your last semester, that's when you're going to actually apply for graduation. But knowing about all the requirements in advance of your last semester will be really important to helping you get there and get there on time without taking extra classes, helping you to maintain your GPA and meeting all of the other program requirements in order to graduate.
Now, speaking of GPA, when they're doing the grad check, there's a minimum GPA students need to maintain in order to be able to graduate, which I believe is 2.0 for
2.0. Students have to have a cumulative GPA of at least 2.0 in order to graduate.
But then also if they want to be eligible to graduate with honors, that's where the higher the GPA is, the different distinctions of honors that they would be graduating with. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's a great point too. And if you want to, you're thinking that you want to graduate with honors, which can certainly be helpful when you're going to transfer, get scholarships. If you have a 3.5 GPA or higher, you get honors. If you have a 3.75 GPA, you will graduate high honors. And if a 3.9 cumulative GPA or higher, you can earn highest honors. And we award honors for those students that are earning associate degrees.
Perfect. All right, now, Christy, what are some, like when should a student begin thinking about graduation and preparing for the ceremony itself? What are some of those steps?
So everything actually starts after the winter break. The committee starts planning. In February sometime is basically our first announcement about seeking commencement speaker applications. And we would love to have as many applicants as possible, so we try to get the word out early. In mid-March and April, we start sending correspondence electronically and hard copy to all of the prospective graduates, sending them important information about graduation, about purchasing caps and gowns, about not only caps and gowns, but sashes. Again, we're talking about veterans, we're talking about honors, stoles, there's so many different types of sashes. So all of that information is in correspondence. What to expect for graduation, what to expect the day of the event, all the information comes out in the spring. So I want to say in February, March timeframe, graduates should really start preparing and getting ready to participate in the ceremony.
Cool. Now that actually brings us to a student submitted question, which was a scenario of what if their last semester isn't the spring semester? So they're not finishing their coursework until a summer or a fall. Are they still able to participate in the spring ceremony, since the ceremony itself is only offered one time a year? What should they do? So Emily, do you want to answer that?
Sure, I'm happy to answer that. We want all of our graduates to participate in the commencement ceremony. Just because we only offer the ceremony once a year doesn't mean you're not a graduate from Pima College. So if you graduate in the fall semester, which happens in December, you're absolutely invited to participate in the spring commencement ceremony. Likewise, if you are going to graduate in this following summer, so maybe you've got, you're in your spring semester, you've got 1 or 2 more classes that you have to finish in the summer, you can still participate in that May ceremony. Summer graduates are actually invited to both the previous May and the next May commencement ceremony if you apply to graduate for the summer term. But we absolutely want every graduate to participate in the ceremony because of all that fabulous energy and the excitement, and you really should be honoring and celebrating all your hard work to earn your credential.
That's right. The event is for you and your family and friends.
Perfect. So I know that there was a brief mention earlier about a website. So this takes us to our where question. Where is all of this information located online? Where would students go to find these key dates and deadlines, the graduation application itself, and then all of that information about the ceremony as it gets developed and planned? What is that graduation, what's that link? Christy, you want to go ahead and talk about it?
Sure. So all the information you need to know, the who's, why's, what's, where's, relating to graduation is on our graduation webpage. It's pima.edu/graduation. And I know that Renee has included that in our chat feature this afternoon. She will also be adding, if anyone would like to take a look at a virtual graduation, because of COVID-19, we had to go virtual. So Renee will be putting that link down in the chat feature as well if you would like to view it. In planning for next year's graduation, please look into the web page because we will be updating it hopefully in January, early February.
Perfect. And if the chat feature isn't easy for our viewers to access while we are live, again, I will make sure that all of those key links are included in the video summary after the recording has finished, and that way you're able to go back and access it. So our last question is the all-important why. I don't know about you, but I was always the student in school who was like, okay, but why? So why is graduation important? So Emily, I'm going to have you field this in the frame of the application itself. Why is it important for our students to even finish that graduation application?
Sure. So you want to submit your graduation application so that we know to award you your credential. You're, like I think I said before, you're spending a lot of hours doing homework and reading and writing papers and reading through science labs and learning how to build things and make things and expanding your mind. And for that, you should be rewarded. And we want to make sure that you earn the credential that you've worked so hard to get to. So applying for graduation is the way that we know that you're ready to graduate and have to review your academic record. When you are awarded your degree or certificate, includes the AJAC certificate, by the way. You do have to apply to graduate for just the AJAC certificate. But when you apply and we award that credential, you're going to get a pretty piece of paper in the mail. You're going to get your diploma that as you've been awarded, but more importantly, that credential is going to show up on your official transcripts. And that's very often what's used when you have to transfer to a university. They're going to see you've earned your AJAC and your associate degree. It makes your transition easier and makes that transition to university a lot easier. Likewise, for those of you that are looking to go out and start a career, when you have that credential on your diploma and on your transcripts, then your employer is going to know that you are able to see the project through. They're going to see that you've got the skills that are required for that particular career because you've earned a degree. So it's really wonderful to have that credential. And one thing my mom used to say to me all the time is nobody can take education away from you. People can steal from us, they can take a lot of things, but nobody can take away your education. And that's why you're here. So I do hope that you follow through and apply to graduate and earn that credential.
Perfect. Thank you so much. And Christy, in the frame of the ceremony itself, why is that graduation ceremony so important for our students?
Graduates worked so hard, sacrificed, didn't sleep. And some graduates were juggling work, school, family. So the ceremony it's a celebration to an ending, but also a beginning to their new journey into the workforce, new journey into a bachelor or master's degree program, even a new journey to having a family. So it's one big party for Pima Community College to say thank you and congratulations.
It's also a time where even if the ceremony may not mean too much to the student, for the family and the friends and the faculty and staff who help support them all along the way, it's also a great opportunity for them to celebrate all the hard work that the student put into it. It's like we talked about, it takes a village, and that village wants to celebrate and see your decorated graduation mortarboards all the same.
Yes, absolutely.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much to each of you for your time today and sharing your expertise and knowledge about the graduation process. And for our first year students who are viewing this, we hope that it gave you a little bit of insight into what to look forward to, what to expect, and how to prepare. Of course, if you have any questions, please feel free to drop them in the comments box of this video, even if you're watching it in replay, and we will make sure that those questions get fielded. Also, you are welcome to visit those links that we will be including. And in those links, not only will there be the information, but also the ways to contact and follow up with any additional questions you may have. So thank you for joining us today. We will be hosting these again throughout the semester. Next month, we are going to be talking about student senators. And then in November, we will be talking about another resource, the Immigrant and Refugee Student Resource Center. So take a look at our calendar of events to see when and how to join those upcoming events. But otherwise, thank you. Have a great weekend and enjoy your time at Pima. Take care. Bye-bye.